Win as one. EA Sports FIFA 21 sponsors Saturday Social.
This is Ask Lampard. We gave you guys at home the chance to ask this man absolutely anything on Sky Sports' social media accounts. Frank, we had tens of thousands of questions.
Have you vetted them well?
I've tried to vet them to the best of my ability. Should we crack on?
Yes.
Right, the first one. What is the highlight of your Chelsea managerial career so far?
The highlight of my pretty short career is when we beat Wolves last year.
Yeah.
Last game of the season, there was some jeopardy in it. If we hadn't have won and the results had gone against us, we could have ended up outside of the top four, which was our big aim for the year. And to win the game, relatively comfortable in the end, 2-0, felt like the culmination of the work through the year, where a lot of people didn't fancy us to make that spot. We worked very hard to get it. And the feeling afterwards with the team and the sort of joint, not celebration, but realising the work we put in had come off to a degree, was a good feeling.
And obviously there's been some great moments against Wolves, haven't there? I mean, the Tomori goal, I remember being a bit of a standout as well. That must have been a special moment.
Yeah, that's a good one to call, because it was one of the early parts of the season and we had a tough start for results, and we went there and Tomori scored a fantastic goal, Tammy scored a hat-trick and Mason Mount scored, which was, the young boys that were going to be pretty pivotal for us last season. So, yeah, we got two good results against Wolves, but they're a great team, so I won't get too ahead of myself with that. We've got to play them again this year. Right,
next one. What is your favourite meal to cook Christine and the family?
Well, I cooked this the other day actually, and it's when I say favourite, it's like my only one. So it's penne arrabbiata. So
there we go.
Yeah, so it's something that I've been cooking since my sort of single days when I first moved out from mum and dad a long time ago now. I've always enjoyed my pasta, and I've got a few sort of kind of tweaks to it that I can add or take away sometimes, but Christine loves it, so I'm on to a winner.
What are the little tweaks? Are we talking a bit of chilli?
Chilli, it's dependent on the chilli and garlic. I can add some bacon, which makes it amatriciana.
Here we go. Yeah. Look at the lingo coming out, Frank. It's unbelievable.
I know, and I love it too. So that and a glass of red wine, and we had it on a Sunday night, sort of last couple of weeks ago, which was nice.
Lovely. Okay, next one. Which manager do you wish you could have played under?
Well, I think the managers of the modern era, it's a really tough call, because in the Premier League we see so many great managers, but it's a manager that I went to watch for a couple of days. He was very kind in allowing me to come and see him behind the scenes, and it was Pep Guardiola when I was working in the media for a year. And I spent 2 days watching his training, seeing his enthusiasm, his detail, his presence on the training ground, and it was not just inspiring for me as a wannabe manager at the time, but it was something that made me think that it's certainly the sort of manager that I would have liked to have played under to try and improve my game, which I think he probably would have done maybe. So he was very impressive.
Because obviously you played under some amazing managers, Jose and Carlo. Who would you say had the biggest influence on your managerial style today?
It was joint. It would be a mixed bag. I tried not. It's important as a manager that you don't try to be a replica of someone, and that's quite easy. And modern managers are so charismatic sometimes that people follow that direction. And Jose Mourinho was clearly that for me. But then later on in my career, Carlo Ancelotti comes and brings a different angle, a different approach with how he was. So I tried to take the best bits from the ones that I felt were more impactful in my career.
And obviously last time I spoke to you, we chatted a little bit about Mr. Buckley, your young school teacher. What do you think he would say to you now, seeing you as the coach of Chelsea Football Club?
Wow, that's an interesting one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he thought that the chubby kid who was pretty good at football was going to play so many times for Chelsea in England. I think he would have been proud. I was very lucky to go to a very good school, Brentwood School in Essex, and Mr. Buckley took me under his wing as a sports teacher, but they not only put in the right ethics I felt in sport and worked with me, but also in terms of the person you are, which I think is hugely important. So I'd like to think he'll be pretty happy and proud, but I'm not sure he would have seen it all coming.
Definitely very proud, I'd say, Frank. Next one then. What was your favourite part about living in New York?
Everything. How long have you got? I loved it. It was an amazing experience. Lived in Manhattan. We trained upstate an hour, but I wanted to live in Manhattan and feel the city as such, pretty near Central Park. Walking the dog over Central Park.
Amazing.
Being able to eat in so many great restaurants. We lived in the Upper East Side, but then it's really cool to go down. I'm getting a bit old to be cool now, but to go down to the lower parts and down to Soho and these areas and Tribeca. I mean, there's so much to the city. It's something that myself and my family loved, and certainly a holiday destination for us going forward.
Did you ever get to Cat's Deli?
Yes, did go to Kansas
Amazing,
City, which is
unreal.
my wife Christine. She was big on going to these kind of places. She's massive into filmed movies, and there are so many references throughout New York. Wherever you go, you kind of think, oh yeah, that's the backdrop. Central Park, loads of backdrops, and yeah, it's an amazing city.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one. After Petr Cech made the Premier League squad, is there any chance we could see you on the pitch as player/coach, Frank?
No, in my dreams, when I dream my legs of 5 years younger and more. No, I don't. I miss tiny moments of not playing. I'm too engrossed in my job as it is now. I take part a little bit in training here and now. You have to have an awareness that your body just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And Pete's younger than me. He's certainly at the moment fitter than me, and he's training more regular than me. It would take a massive pre-season for me to get anywhere near fit, and I think my muscles might break down in the process. So, no, I've moved on.
So you don't take part in any of the little rondo drills?
No, I do the rondos. Which
How do you stack up?
Oh, I'm good.
Still got a bit?
Yeah. I've definitely got a bit for those. I always enjoyed the rondos, boxes, we call them, circles, whatever you want to call it. And it's a big deal for me because I think some players take it as fun and a warm-up. I always took it as serious. We had two of the players we had, John Terry, etc. We all made it very competitive, and I do enjoy getting involved in those.
Good stuff. Okay, the next one. Is it true you used to be obsessed with old school garage?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to delve too much into that because you'll ask me, and I'm not great with memory. I don't, know the names of the songs, but my going out days, in my 20s. I started early night with Rio Ferdinand, we'd go out, he would be in the music, but I would just follow. I'm a follower. I'm a follower of music.
I can understand it.
So old school garage was just kind of there in my era, and then I got old. But I occasionally now, if I'm on the bike and do a lot of spin, I will go to sort of Spotify old school garage and remind myself of my youth.
So I presume you used to have it on in the changing rooms with you and John. So what do you make of the current music situation in the Chelsea dressing room? Is it up to the scratch of the old school garage?
Yeah, because our kit man Gary is like-minded, so he brings a bit of that.
He's in charge of it.
He's in charge. Then the players maybe take some of the reins, and then it changes, which I'm fine with. It doesn't bother me as long as it's getting them readily prepared for the game. But a lot of the modern players tend to sort of go into their own sort of earphones, listen to their own music. Yeah. So but we loved the music back in the day because it was an atmosphere, it was a tone setter for the game that was to come.
Get you going, love it. Okay, the next one's very simple. Do you like Marmite?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. Finally, I found someone that likes it in football.
I love it. Marmite on toast. Definitely. It's a no-brainer. Not every day, but definitely.
Yeah, because last time I was here, I was chatting with Kurt Zuma, and he was talking about dunking jam sandwiches in hot chocolate. And I feel like Marmite is the English version of that. It's very hard to find another person that likes Marmite. Is there any other sort of weird food choices that you maybe like?
No, I'm pretty standard. I don't get the jam, jam and cheese, and I know people that do a lot of things that I just didn't grow up on.
Strange.
And I refuse to go towards it. But Marmite was always there for me, so that's probably strange. It's not strange. Marmite and toast is standard, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to be. Okay, the next one. Who is in charge of the fines at Chelsea now, and who gets fined the most?
I won't tell you who gets fined the most, because then
fair enough.
That's the headline grabber. And it was a big thing in our fine system last season. We came out, somebody took a picture of it and sold it out to the media. Everyone thought it was really harsh. It was probably more myself coming in wanting to install discipline. The players bought into it. I wouldn't have done it without them. I'm not a dictator, a massive disciplinarian. I just like to sort of set rules that hopefully mean that fines don't get paid because people don't be late. Do you know what I mean? But so we just collect it. We're aware of it. I'm not, as I say, walking around the building with a crack and a whip. We have Kevin who works here with us upstairs, who I sort of normally speak to, and he would collect them. And we always try and make sure that any money's raised go to good causes, which the players did. To be fair, they decided to make a lot of good donations around the start of the COVID time. So it was, it was certainly done in the right way, I think.
What about back in your playing days? Who was in charge of the fines when you were playing at Chelsea in the West Ham?
We didn't have so many fines here at Chelsea. It depended on the manager who came in, and some managers would come in and lay down, heavy fines straight away. Some would just go on we expect you to be at this level, and you shouldn't, you control it yourself. I love a self policing dressing room of the lads. So in our day, I think our dressing room was strong. We policed it ourselves, and that's kind of where we're trying to get to with our dressing room, and we're pretty much there, I think, and it's important it stays that way.
Love it. Okay, the next one. This was a strange one. Quite a few people asked this one, actually. Is it true Christine saved your life outside of a London coffee shop?
Yeah, Christine did an interview and she mentioned this, and it was. Christine is quite not superstitious, but she's sometimes has feelings, you know, like she's a witch.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? She just had.
Yeah.
So I think we left a coffee place that we go to quite a lot near us, walking the dog, which we do a lot, and she moved me along, and then I think some scaffolding or something fell down, like a piece of wood, and it was sort of in the area where I'd been standing.
Crazy, a bit of a premonition.
Yeah, it was
a Final Destination.
It was
vibes.
a premonition, yeah. And I don't like to think about it. I try and sort of question the validity of whether it definitely would have fallen on my head, just claiming to save my life. You know what I mean? It may have just like missed me or brushed my head or something, but there was something in it, yeah. So maybe she did.
Unbelievable. Okay, the next one. What is the most valuable shirt you've ever got in a swap?
Well, I had Messi's shirt and I swapped it.
There we go.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, I'll leave it there. No, but I had the Messi, and a good friend of mine, Alan Barrett, who worked here at Chelsea for years, was a big fan, football fan, massive Chelsea fan, and he now is looking after my Messi shirt, which is great because he'll be a very good keeper for it.
Was there any manager that ever said to you, no shirt swapping? Because I've heard that does go on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's the adage of not swapping at half time. I get that. These things should be done after the game. I've got no problem with it. I think it's mutual respect. I think, you know, players work hard in games. They want to win their games. They have friendships across teams. They have respect across teams. I think it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, final question then. You're passionate on the touchline. Did you learn that from Jose? I'm a season ticket holder and I love it.
I didn't learn it from Jose. Albeit he was passionate, as we know.
Very passionate.
I found out a few weeks ago we were both passionate together.
Love
it. The line has to be natural. I don't think you'll find me passionate every game. You know, sometimes you're focused, sometimes you celebrate a goal. VAR's kind of tempered that because you don't want to do the run down the line. And
the knee slide, Jose style.
Yeah, so that's been tempered. But no, I'm passionate if the feeling takes you. You know, we want to win. I think it's important that the players feel that, the fans of the club feel that I feel the club, you know, but you have to do it naturally. I don't think to jump up and down for the sake of it is me. So it's just how I feel. Is
there any sort of one thing that is like a bugbear for you on the touchline that another manager maybe does, and you're like, oh come on mate, just sit down?
No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go to that one. No, there's not really. I think managers have respect with each other, and I would always forgive a manager if he did something that I didn't quite see or feel, because I know that I could do that as well, if you know what I mean. I could have reactions to fourth officials, things in the team, and we all have our own style. So I generally don't. And the important thing is that if there's anything that makes you passionate on the line that can be a bit sort of, confrontational, that straight after you shake hands and you respect each other. I feel that of every manager I'll come against.
Frank, top man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today.
Cheers, good speaking to you.